so I had to go get her. And I jokingly said, "Hey, once we like found the street that she was on, that now we had to find the house of the crazy hedgehog lady." Apparently, reality likes to freaking take my jokes as literal. So yeah.
Now I have to find the house of the crazy hedgehog lady. Yes. What?
I was there for 3 hours.
Holy
So,
shit!
yeah. I'm gonna leave the story at that, but yeah, it was not a fun 3 hours.
Hey man, I told you to take as much time as you need. I'm not really in any rush.
Yeah.
Oh, my fucking back.
No, I haven't finished, so I don't mind.
Alright.
I was just kind of giving it a quick read through to make sure it's not terribly written, so I don't have to trip myself.
It's fine.
See if anyone else.
If it's terribly written, it'll fit with the character.
Should I poke Norix? I don't know if he's around, so.
He's on Do Not Disturb is the issue.
He's always on Do Not Disturb.
That's fair.
I'm guessing Nora's not around. Is Norix playing something? He's playing Binding of Isaac. He might be streaming right now.
Alright, give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if he's streaming. If he is, I'll fucking yell into the chat. It's fine, I've done this before.
Yep.
It's not anything new. Yeah, he's streaming.
Alright, we'll leave him be then.
Well, yeah, yell him in the chat still. Yeah, I understand the chat rules. Fuck off, I've been here before.
Testing bot and web application. Trying to freaking get it up. It's not doing it. That's okay. Yes, I want to watch now thing.
I left immediately because I'm in a League of Legends game, so I have no idea how he reacted.
I can't even see. It's taken too long, so I don't care. I'm guessing he's busy then. So one of you guys will have to.
My thing is fucking lagging, so I heard him go, Payne's dream sequence? Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I don't know about Chase.
He said Theo record it for me.
Alright,
but
I am.
Breaking up too much past that.
Yeah.
The big fucking internet. Woo. And I've been tasked by Norix to tell him what happened after. No, sorry, not Norix. Nor.
I still love how when you chose your option, Theo, Nor immediately went and said, "Hey, Theo tells me that he chose something and his pick was related to me somehow." And then he updated and was like, "Yeah, Theo definitely picked that because he was thinking of Drake." Like, freaking really?
Oh, fuck.
What?
I got booped.
Oh.
I got booped hard.
So.
Boop him back, idiot.
Oh.
Are we going?
Yep.
Alright.
Shut up.
Oh, give me the okay for when you guys have everything set up.
When I said alright, that was when I started recording.
Well, yeah, Norix, you're busy. So, of course, I'll just say, have the, you put the last piece in, and then as normal, for when you reach a certain point, you black out. For your very minor difference, though, rather than just opening your eyes, you immediately go and know that you're in a forest. You can hear the wind blowing through the trees and the smell of, mushrooms and other animals and whatnot coming to your nose very strongly. And one in particular seems to draw your attention. In fact, it demands your attention, the smell of blood. So then you open your eyes and begin just kind of loping towards the scent. So, if it's not obvious,
Wait a minute.
you're not you.
I was about to say, loping.
Yeah, no. So, as you get closer, you can hear voices on the wind, though what they're saying is still kind of hard to make out. And the scent finally carries you, or as I say, this particular body.
You is fine.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, finally, after what feels like hours, though it's really just probably a few minutes, you reach a small clearing with a small group of people kind of standing around it, plus a few bodies. The group doesn't look familiar to you at all. Just kind of a bunch of two-legged beings. So you sniff deeply, watching as more of your pack kind of surrounds them as they're hidden in the undergrowth nearby. One of them is just kind of like, one of them is just kind of sitting, while another one just kind of patches up one of his arms, as he's kind of just still dripping blood onto the ground.
Can I try and figure out what I am?
You seem to be a wolf-type creature of some kind, but it's hard to tell.
Okay.
Some sort of canine.
Yeah.
You have a pack, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you can't see them. They're hidden amongst the thing. You can smell that they're there and hear they're crunching. But
Can I try attempt at least to recognize what my place in this pack is? Am I just another one of the schmucks?
No, you seem to definitely be one of the alphas.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, hence why you're leading. So one of the human that's wrapping, kind of patching the other guy up, kind of grumbles at one of the other guys. Damn it, Jeff. I told you they were nasty. Why'd you rush in like that? The one he specifically seems to be directing it to one of the people who's like kind of standing guard, who's standing next to particularly one of the larger bodies. He just kind of nudges it with his foot. The bodies, by the way, seem to be covered in dark fur, and you recognize them as not your pack mates. Mostly by their smell. There does seem to be the one that I just said was nudged, that seems way bigger than the rest, and seems to be way bigger than you in particular.
Oh, cool. Direwolf. Got it.
Yeah. It also seems to be blackened to the point of charring in most of its body.
All right.
The one that kind of prodded the direwolf, just kind of looks over at him, just kind of in a huffy voice. Look, I didn't ever say a wolf could do what these things could do. You ever seen one that can bloody teleport? Didn't think so. Stupid bastard. And immediately you kind of feel your hackles rise at the word wolf, and kind of feel outraged that these beings are attacking wolves. How dare they murder them, pretty much. And you kind of immediately, a small little grin kind of crosses your face. Maybe you should teach them a lesson in teleporting dogs next. And then you hear a voice that kind of breaks through your surrounding, like they, in particular, walk between two of your pack mates without seemingly running into them. And you see an elf just kind of stride into the clearing. And all of a sudden, your perspective switches up, and now you're sitting in her eyes. You immediately can tell a few things about her. One, she is incredibly powerful. And at the moment, she both, A, knows that these dogs are here. In particular, she knows that they're golden dogs. And she's not worried about them in the slightest.
Golden dogs. Love me some blank dogs, baby!
Yep. Though you can kind of see them through the undergrowth in a few places, and you can kind of still sense the rest of the pack somehow. And then time pauses as they're kind of talking to as the conversation starts, and a voice just kind of carries quietly. You recognize it as Oberon's, but it's fading. And it says, whose eyes do you desire?
Whose eyes do I desire?
I'm sure you can understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just thinking. Whose eyes do I desire? Well, let's see. So I know that this person's powerful, right?
Yep.
Do I know, like, what type of power it is?
No. You just know that she'll most likely survive this encounter with no issues.
Okay. So the power of blink dogs, or the power of nebulous power?
You know that she has power over plants, I suppose.
Oh. Fae or plants? This is a hard choice.
I mean, they're both Fae. Just
yeah.
one is teleporting and the other one is power over plants.
could you choose the random schmucks?
No, they're not part of this.
Okay.
Can I choose the dead direwolf?
No.
That seems more my speed, if I'm honest. So the choice between teleportation and plants. I'm gonna be
Keep
honest.
in mind that you're not taking part in this fight. You're just picking which set of eyes.
Yeah,
you're watching
which
it.
side I want to watch. But I know that this is definitely going to have some type of impact later. But well, yeah, I'm not going to have an impact. That's the only reason I would have chosen the blink dog to try and make sure that this fight doesn't break out. So let's go with the plant view.
Okay. So, yeah, you hear your kind of stride into the camp and hear your voice. It's melodious. You seem to be at least attractive. They don't immediately act hostile towards you. And you hear yourself attempting to convince them that you have these magical berries that can heal them of their injuries. You, of course, know these berries are, in fact, magical. Unfortunately, they're not the healing sort.
No healing here.
Yeah, they're the poisonous sort.
Hates it.
Yep. And you know that you're surrounded by these blink dogs that don't seem to be backing down. In fact, they seem to be kind of getting ready to leap in, as they don't tend to like this sort of thing. Sure, they're planning on killing these people too, but their reasons are quote-unquote good. You're just doing it for fun. So, yeah, as you attempt to convince them, they kind of start to, go ahead and take them as you kind of use your wiles and a little bit of magic. But the blink dogs jump in before you're able to fully convince them. So you have to defend yourself both from the blink dogs and from the mortals as they pick out what you actually are as you're equally jumped. Thankfully, after taking a couple of hits from their blades and a bite or two from the blink dogs, you're able to morph into one of the trees and move farther away. The blink dogs take a few casualties, not a few casualties. They don't take any casualties, but they get cut a few times. But in the end, it's the mortals who lose this fight. Yeah. Well, none of them die is the main idea.
No fatalities.
Yeah. A few of them are minorly injured, but for the most part, the mortals fall quickly. And you have to jump back. So, you appear out of one of the trees closer to your home, effectively. It's not quite that, but it kind of semi-translates. You understand that you're heading to a particular plant, but that's what it translates.
Well, Dryads have specific trees they're attached to.
Yep. And a few thoughts immediately kind of rush through your head. First, an annoyance at the dog's intervention, since you could easily have dealt with those things. Annoyance at the stupid mortals for even coming into the woods. And then finally, annoyance at Oberon ordering you to go out and freaking deal with them. It's not your problem. You're so far away from home that one of your sisters could have easily done it.
Really resonate with that last one.
Yeah. Even if it was particularly fun, if you were allowed to kill them on your own. So you just kind of walk along the seemingly kind of, there's not really a path, it's just the middle of the woods, but you understand that there is a way that you can move. And you just kind of walk the rest of the way, kind of touching some of the spiny and leafy plants along the way, knowing that they're, the plants of your sisters, and just kind of playfully telling them, I'm back. And finally, after walking for a short time, you see a tall, crooked tree rising out of a small marsh, with its small green fruit just kind of still hanging off its branches. You walk up and lay down against the tree, just kind of relaxing in the shade. And then all of a sudden, something kind of... I'm trying to think of how it would feel to you. It's like if something touches you, I suppose. You always, you kind of feel something touch you. You understand that's not touching you, but touching something else. But that's kind of what it feels like. Like someone kind of running a finger over your skin, just barely. Like you feel it, but you don't see anything. Your eyes snap open, kind of search the area near where you felt the touch. It's technically, you can sense that one of the plants has felt it. So you look over in that direction, and after a moment of seeing nothing, you figure it's probably something that perhaps your eyes can't see. So you close them again and reach out to those plants nearby and ask them to look for you. And all of a sudden, you see, then, well, of course, they kind of respond back and tell you that yes, there does indeed seem to be a being there. It's invisible. It's just kind of crouching nearby some of them. Its knees touching some of the ferns and leaves in that area. And it seems to just be watching you. You can kind of feel like you could just, well, you know that if you wanted to, you could just reach out and tell the plants to grab this intruder for you, and you could walk up and offer them to release them if they wanted to, for a promise of a gift, of course. So the body just kind of relaxes back against the tree, and you feel yourself kind of prodded mentally. Basically, you have control now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what to do. What would Oberon hate most in this moment? I'm just gonna wait for now. I'm gonna see if this motherfucker wants to do anything.
All right. No, it just kind of sits there watching you. And after, well, how long are you just gonna wait?
Yeah, I don't know, 3-4 minutes.
All right. So yeah, after 3 or 4 minutes, it just kind of vanishes. And then, all of a sudden, like before when you're watching the mortals and then forced into a different perspective, you're forced into a different perspective.
Is it the invisible things?
Maybe, you don't know. And you feel yourself loping back through the forest, a wound on your shoulder from taking a sword swing. But you sense that you'll be fine. It's just a small injury. You'll heal before even a few days pass. And you know that, well, you know this because you're no ordinary wolf.
Yeah, blink dogs.
Yeah, fey wolf, effectively. And as you reach your den, you can already feel the wound kind of knitting itself back together slowly. You just kind of lay down in the entrance, watching as the rest of the pack, goes back into the den or moves into a small gully nearby and just start kind of playing it together, rolling around in the dirt. And all of a sudden, the thought of to be a puppy again was so nice, kind of nicely musing. And as you're kind of about to nod off and let your body do its, finish off its healing, you see a flicker of movement and a whisper of leaves. And all of a sudden, you notice that there is an invisible being that's attempting to sneak up to the den. It's a humanoid of some sort, but you can't really tell because of its invisible nature. It smells like decaying leaves, but as it stops moving, it just kind of stops smelling anything at all. You know it's there, but it doesn't produce any scent. And so it just kind of crouches out near the den area, a little too far just to leap forward and chomp, but you know that with just a quick leap and a small sprint, you can easily get within range to get your jaws on it.
Yeah, finding something invisible is a pain in the dick.
They know.
Yeah.
But there's also friends, so. And all of a sudden, you kind of feel your body starting to grow warm in anticipation, and you feel something once again mentally prod you. What would you like to do?
So, it is outside of the den at the moment?
Yeah. It's close enough that you can get to easily, but not close enough that leaping up and jumping on it. So it's like, I don't know, 30 feet away.
Yeah, you know what they say. Nothing ventured.
So leap up and attempt to attack it, or just run up to it, something? Like what in particular are you doing?
For now, actually, just approach it.
All right.
Not attack, just approach.
So, yeah, you just kind of get up, shake yourself off, just kind of trot. Like, are you trotting up to it, like running up to it?
It's like walking.
Okay. Yep.
I've recently
Walk up
learned that not everything needs to be solved with violence. Fucking weird, right? Who'd have ever guessed that shit?
So, how close are you getting to it? Walk right up to it, or?
Like 10 feet.
Okay. Yep. Well, you stop at 10 feet. It very clearly is watching you in particular, but otherwise it just kind of continues sitting there.
Attempt communication.
All right. Yeah,
Yo, what's up, fucker?
Yeah.
So-
You kind of growl and do a small howl bark, and all of a sudden it just kind of vanishes. And then you are returned back to Z form, standing in a white room that you, of course, recognize. Except, of course, rather than the last two dreams, where when it shunted you here and then gave you a pair of options, there's only one person other than you here. He seems to be an 8-foot-tall elf who wears a long robe covered in feathers and a reaper mask.
Oh,
He
hey,
just
bro,
kind
how you
of-
doing?
He just kind of looks over at you. So, how did you like your visit, young one? I hope it was pleasant, as it must end.
It was nice seeing Blink Dogs again.
Yep.
Dark Dread, you know, I could take it or leave it.
He then bows and pulls out a pair of masks, just kind of out of thin air. And with a flourish, places them just kind of in the air to either side of him, and bodies form out of them, it seems. And out of them, you see two elves from the looks of them. They just kind of are like almost mannequin-like in appearance. They're just white, pure white. But you can see their pointed ears. The masks, unfortunately, are exactly the same. They're just wooden elf faces. He just kind of stands behind them for a moment after standing upright again. Just kind of cocks his head a little bit, goes and pulls out his the bottom of his mask where you can see a little bit of a pointed chin. I suppose you are supposed to choose one, are you not? This is quite the strange experience, I must say. Been through two others. It's quite the astonishing fact that you are not simply mad, my dear. He just kind of walks around the two, just kind of humming to himself, then looks at the masks. Doesn't seem to be much of a choice, really. And then kind of stands upright and claps, turns on his heel towards you. How about this? I'll make it more interesting. And then he clicks his fingers and vanishes in a puff of mist, along with both of the people. And then the room starts to turn gray, and then black, until it seems like you're blind. Since there's nothing to see, it's just everything around you is dark, but you can't see. It is kind of surreal, since, you know, you can see in the dark. And then all of a sudden you feel something touch your shoulder, like a hand. And a short, just kind of a small word that's just barely a whisper. There is more in the darkness, I swear. Just look for me. And then it fades, and everything starts to brighten again as the room fills with mist. And as it kind of not solidifies, everything is still misty, you can see two kind of standing in front of you are two figures. They're both humanoid in appearance, effectively anyway. One, the one on the left, has a head that looks like a gnarled stump, with a kind of flash of some sort of light underneath. And the other one has a head that looks like branches, and its flash of metal is near the top.
Flash of metal, you said?
Yeah. At least that's what it looks like. You know, if you kind of turn a sword in sunlight and it flashes, that's
Yeah,
what it
the like reflecting of steel
yeah,
kind of stuff.
that's what it looks like.
So stump or branches?
Yep.
Are my two choices. And the voice said, "There's more in the darkness. Look for me," or something.
Yeah. I can read it again. Yeah, there is more in the darkness, I swear. Just look for me.
There's more in the darkness. I swear. Just look for me. I'm gonna look around the room more.
Okay. So yeah, you walk away from the.
I'm
the
not-
two
I'm not-
and you can still see them,
Yeah.
surprisingly, because the mist is very, very heavy. Like you can only see about 5 feet ahead of you, but you can
Much
still
as
somehow
I-
see them.
Much as I fucking hate Oberon, he hasn't actually steered me that wrong this far.
Yep. And
He's been
after
relatively helpful.
wandering around for how long are you wandering around?
Well, let's see. Fucking, do I remember the other two dreams now?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is very much unlike the other two.
Yeah, I figured that. The other two were about 18 deaths or less at this point. God, as far as I know, I have effectively infinite time in here. So I'm gonna give it like a good, I don't know, hour or so.
Okay. So yeah, it doesn't take that long. But eventually you do find a third person. They're they're definitely away from the other two options, but they kind of stand there. They're a lot smaller than the two with masks. And this one seems to just be a person. They have a mask, but it just looks like a kind of blank elven mask, like the one that Oberon kind of made fade. They're kind of crouching away from the other two. Kind of afraid, maybe, is what they look like.
I'm gonna assume if I attempt to talk to any of these, I'm not gonna get any responses.
Yeah, no, none of them seem to be responsive.
So, human? That humanoid, more of.
Yeah.
Elf. So we got an elf, stump, and branches. I really wish I was better at symbolism.
As a reminder, you are dealing with the Dark Fae.
Yeah.
So, the symbols might be intentionally wrong anyway.
Yeah. But here's the thing. As much as as I said earlier, as much as I hate him, and he's a bastard, he actually hasn't been that bad to me.
You
And
can't
this
do
is
anything
where that
with
changes.
Yeah.
Can't do anything with dead servants.
Yeah.
I'll let you know just out of game. You basically have two choices.
I basically have two choices.
Yeah.
Which means either this isn't an option at all, or the other two are the exact same option, just from different fucking standpoints. Which seems relatively obvious given that they're both fucking trees.
Yep.
So this is just what I want to fucking embrace being a fae. Or I want to fucking try and turn back time.
That's not quite how it is, but close enough.
Look, Mitchel, I how many information I have, which isn't a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once you find the last one, by the way, they move a little closer, so you don't have to wander around too much. To find them all.
Once I find the last one, I turn around, the other two are just standing right there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Spooky. Which one of these will piss off Overrun the most? Which one of these will be the best for me? Wait a minute. I have a question about the last figure.
Yeah.
So they're crashing to the ground like they're afraid, right?
Yeah.
Are they small?
I mean,
Almost-
smaller than the elves, but not halfling size.
Well, I meant more like a child size.
No.
Damn. I thought I was onto something for a second there. So I think my two options.
I mean,
At least
you can
the-
examine them. It's a little
Yeah,
hard for
fuck it.
all of them because you're in the mist, but...
I got good eyes. I have infinite time. I'll examine them.
Alright, which one are you starting with?
let's start with fucking branches.
All right. That one is, when you will kind of get closer to it, a mask. It looks a lot like the branches of a tree. Mostly just kind of two large ones with a selection of small ones kind of coming off of it. The mask looks much bigger than any normal humanoid mask would ever be able to really hold without freaking insane neck muscles. And as you kind of stretch up a little bit, you do notice that there is a small piece of metal in the top. Though it just seems to be kind of like the nub of a sword or something. It doesn't, like, it's just kind of a small sliver of a blade. Nothing similar or anything, it looks like.
So, like if someone stabbed a sword really deep into a tree and just left it there.
Yeah.
It's a very specific thing.
By the way, the roots are basically the exact same thing, but the blade is run up through the bottom.
Oh.
I guess it's more like if someone ran a sword in and it got snapped off, and you just have the base of the blade sticking out.
Alright. So we have trees with swords stuck in them.
Yep.
And let's examine the cowering figure.
The cowering figure, as I said, doesn't look any different from the two before. It just is. It looks like it's an elf that has an elven mask, which seems kind of pointless, but yeah. This one, however, does seem to kind of smell a little weird. For whatever reason, that's the thing that kind of comes out differently for you.
Smells weird like what? And do I recognize this scent from anywhere?
I mean, it kind of smells, well, it's when you're first walking, like kind of examining it, it first smells like kind of dying plants. So like decaying plant life. And then all of a sudden after a bit, it starts smelling like growing plant life, like springtime. And then it seems to just kind of flip between those two.
Okay, so it's like a cycle of decay and rebirth.
Yeah.
That is so hyper specific. I don't know what to make of it.
That's the closest I'm giving you to a hint to what it is.
No, that's entirely fair. It's just just my thought process. As I heard that, it's like, huh, what? What the fuck?
Choose that one. You just choose Amelia.
Fuck no. Amelia is not with the fucking fresh smell. It just smell like corpses and sadness. Tell me it's wrong.
It's not.
Also alcohol, which just makes it sound even or smell even more sad because it smells like alcoholism, which is like the saddest fucking smell in the world.
Yeah. There is, by the way, a scent between the two, but your just nose isn't sensitive enough to tell what it is.
I wish the dog was here. He'd be able to tell me.
Unfortunately, no Sieg here.
Yeah, if the dog was here, this would have already been solved. I would have told him to choose and then roll the D3. Alright. So, we've got... I'm just going to assume that the two different trees are effectively going to be the same choice.
Yep.
So
it's just two sides to the same choice, basically.
Yeah. So... Well, let's see, two sides of the same choice. We have one fucking, which is the branches, and one which is the roots, which in theory would be actually all these have to do with plants though, so that kind of ruins that theory. Because the theory I was going to go with this, it's like you've got plants from the light side of things, and then you've got plants from the dark side of things, because you got the fucking under roots, or whatever the fuck they're called in the Feywood. And then you have the Feywood proper, which would be the difference between light dryads and fucking dark dryads. I'm talking a lot with my hands, which is weird, because I normally don't do that.
I hate to tell you, we can't see it, so...
Yeah, no. I was like doing a lot of hand motions and like, this is weird. I never talk with my hands.
That's why I said there's really two options. There's just one is which side.
Yeah. One is an option with sub options. And then the cycle of rebirth. You know what? I feel like I'm kind of bad to go to the rebirth one since I fucking spent like I don't know how long fucking searching for it. I was willing to spend an hour.
That didn't take an hour, but it did take a longer time than the options immediately given.
I was willing to spend an hour though.
Mhm.
It's not about how long it actually took, it's about how long you were willing to take.
Yeah. So that's the one you're choosing?
God damn it. I hate this. The same exact thing has happened every time, too. Actually, that's not true. The first time was pretty fucking cut and dry. I was like, hey, that's the dog one. Boom.
Yeah, that one was pretty obvious.
Easiest choice of my fucking life, dude. I don't know, anyone in the peanut gallery have any thoughts?
I think
I
it's
mean,
only
I'm
BO.
a Dark Dryad fan myself, but
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
I
Like, I'm not
don't
knocking
fucking
you or
know.
anything. I'm just more interested in, like, Why?
Don't they do like the edgy zombie plant zombies?
Yes and no.
I don't remember them having anything to do with that, did they?
I'm going to say yes and no.
Yes. Well, fucking gee,
Well, that's-
thanks, Mitchell.
That's good enough for me.
So you like it because it has to do with zombies.
They don't.
Well, I like
yeah,
it
the
because they
Fae-
were relatively
Dark
nice.
Fae aren't the only ones that do that.
Were they relatively nice?
Yeah. At least the guys I dealt with. I don't know.
What, you mean the mushroom people?
No, you remember
No,
the
I realized the guys up in the north, fucking the druid.
Oh, those
plant
guys.
Zombies.
Those guys aren't.
Yeah,
Fae.
no.
well,
I don't
figured
think
they're
those
not
have anything
Fae.
to do with the Dark Dryad.
Yeah, no, those guys would just had their own method of zombification stuff.
Okay.
That was not Dark Dryad. That was just weird zombies that happened to be plant based.
Yeah, those guys were unrelated, but there is a Dark Fae that is able to do that. Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, hell yeah.
I don't think you want
Christ.
Theo's opinion on the matter.
No. The moment I asked it, I was like, all right, this is a fucking not helpful, huh?
I mean, if we could get someone into Norix's chat, Norix can freaking give his opinion.
You know what? Yeah, sure.
So what are your choices? Druid, evil druid, and
No, I don't think Drew is a choice in here at all, actually.
Oh.
Alright, I'm now in Norix's stream.
I mean, it seems like the right choice would be the not naughty druid.
I hate to tell you, there is no right choice here.
The not naughty Druid?
The better
Oh, wait,
choice
he's
for
muting
you.
himself on stream. We're about to have the boy in here himself.
What's up?
Alright,
So you get a choice?
yeah, my three choices are... It's really two choices, one is sub-choices. I have Elf Mask. I have... the Elf Mask smells like the fucking changing a season cycle of rebirth bullshit. And then I've got a tree mask that is the branches with a sword sticking out of it, and I've got a tree mask which is roots with a sword sticking out of it.
I mean, technically, it's just a blade. There is no.
Who fucking cares?
I'm just being specific.
It's a hunk of metal in the shape of a sword.
Yes.
God, I don't know. Like, do the
If
one
you-
that doesn't turn you into a dark fae.
If you
one
want
that
my
doesn't-
opinion, the mask is really what.
Which
like,
mask? Isn't there like three?
Yeah,
Aren't they all
all three
masks?
of them wear
Or sorry,
masks.
the one the smelly
Yes.
one.
The one that is decay and then fresh and then decay then fresh.
Yeah.
That seems the
I like the
most
neutral
like
one.
But that is
fitting given
also-
how many times I've had to go through the process of dying and coming back.
I am also biased towards that one because that is,
That is
you know.
I like the tree one. I don't know. Raleigh likes the sword one, but
Wait, aren't
they're
two
two sword ones.
Yeah.
fuck.
Don't-
Dude, I
But
don't
they're
know.
they're just subs of the same one.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back to my.
Gotta get
screen,
a hold of
I'm
Nor.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
pink
ignore.
on the other hand.
I'm gonna pull the
I'm
entire
one vote
party.
against. One vote against the smelly mask. Fuck you, Theo.
One vote against. Why against the smelly mask?
Yeah, I'm
Nice
not going
gun.
for votes.
Because Theo
There is
picked it.
no votes.
I'm going for vote. You're not the one in charge of the choice, Mitchell.
Well, you say that, but he could just pick for you.
Yeah, no, I said 100% in charge. Could not be more in charge of the choice if he tried.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, I could just do what I did with Nor, where you don't get a choice. Pick a random person.
Yeah.
That's what happened for the first one. He didn't get any freaking context. He was just pick one.
No,
So that's the one he pissed
I
freaking
thought
Mercurial
that was
off.
the second one. The first.
Oh, was it the second? It was one of them where
Yeah,
Mercurial
the
basically
first
said,
one.
"You get no
The
context."
first one was the 4 choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one because we didn't have any accompanying dream. It was just the 4 choices.
Yeah.
And then the second one we had the accompanying dream, and he fucking pissed off Mercurial.
Yeah. So
It
Mercurial
was
said,
given
"You get
2
no
fucking
context."
random things.
Yep. If he did it for the third one, Mercurial would have just given him the worst choice, honestly. Technically, yeah, Drake
Is it
actually had
worse
3.
subjective?
No, it would have been the worst for him. Trust
Oh. Isn't worse subjective? Not in this scenario.
No, not for Drake.
Huh.
I can just tell you guys, Mercurial would have given Drake sorcery.
Oh god, that would been funny.
Yes, hence why Mercurial was being nice and saying, if you play nice,
Holy
don't get the
shit.
worst one.
Hey Drake, you get the antithesis to your being. Have
Yep.
fun. Alright.
Well, that's why you don't freaking
Uh,
play with Mercurial at that point.
What was the line again? Because I already forgot.
What, the one it said?
No, the whispered one.
The Whisper one. There's more in the darkness, I swear. Just look for me. It doesn't give a description of what it is.
There's more in the darkness, I swear. Just look for me.
Yep. It didn't give a description of what it is. It just kind of mentioned that it
Yeah,
exists.
but you know what? Let's do one last sweep. Anything I missed? A 4th choice. I'm just fucking brain dead.
No,
Please
there's
say
no
no. Thank
choice.
God.
It's just these 3.
The more choices you add, the more you crack.
Yep, there are just 3.
So the first 2 are bad things.
Yeah.
The third one.
Yeah. Technically, there are 2 choices given by Oberon, 1 given by not him.
Oh. So Oberon's the one giving me Dryad choices. That's actually interesting.
Mhm.
Since I find giving me the cycle of dying over and over again, he's had if fucking enough of seeing me do that. After the 8th time, it starts getting. Fuck. This is a mistake, but you know what? As much of a dickhead he is, and I hate him, going with one of the Oberon choices, and we're going with the fucking branches.
All right. Yep. So the other 2 vanish. The one that was sad seems to kind of leave with a kind of sad whisper. And then that one just kind of, the mist all just burns away. And the branches, when the mist is burned away and you can actually see, are dark. And Oberon just kind of shows up and pats you on the back.
That's
Ah, good choice. Better than the freaking weaklings that you'd get instead. All right.
what were the weaklings? Just no, you're gone. Okay.
Yep. It ends.
Hey, one last time for old time's sake, I'm gonna try and stab him.
Yeah, no, the dream ends before you get the chance.
It's fine. Come on.
Yeah.
And the recording.
As will I.
41 minutes, but I'm pretty sure at least 10 of that was just me freaking out and not choosing.